Welcome back to our Meet the Team series at the Center for Equus Coaching. We're a community of coaches who believe that partnering with horses can help transform the ways we connect with ourselves, others, and the world around us. I'm Travis Stock, one of the instructors here at the Center for Equus Coaching. Just a quick plug, please take a moment to explore the other videos on our channel. There you'll meet some of the other instructors and Equus coaches, get a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to be an Equus coach, and learn more about the programs and certifications we offer. Today, I'm excited to be joined by another of our instructors and resident horse expert, Kasia Roether. Kasia brings a lifetime of knowledge and connection to this incredible animal that we partner with, and her depth of mastery is a real asset to our coaches in training. Plus, she does really beautiful work supporting people as they navigate grief. I'm lucky to know her, and I'm excited to introduce you all to her. Thanks for joining me, Kasia.
Thank you, Travis. I'm excited about this project, this whole YouTube channel and awesome, videos. Even though I don't care for being recorded, it's so fun to be here with you. Thanks.
I know, it's a total adjustment. Well, tell us a little bit about your background.
All right. So I'm originally from Poland. I've been in the States now, 25, 26 years probably. And I came to the States because of horses. So, I had a very different life in Poland, good career, very sort of settled life situation. And then I decided to leave it all and come to the States to explore some horse training methods. And here I am, 25 years later.
Was your career in Poland with horses, or were you doing something else at that time?
Actually not. I'm a chemist by education.
Oh, that's right.
However, my career was in business. It seems like I'm all about changing things, and one road is never enough, or I'm not going to stay on it too long. So, I had a different job, and my family thought I probably lost a little bit of mind of, leaving everything and pursuing something I had no really clue about. The one thing I did have when it came to horses, I had a very deep love for them.
Horses have a way of pulling us in a different direction. I went and got my master's in social work and was going down a different trajectory, had a completely different plan for my life. And then all of a sudden I'm moving to California to learn how to do this work. And I did not feel like I chose that for myself. I did say yes to the opportunity, but I was like, wait, how did this show up in my life? So horses have a way.
My mom used to call it a virus.
We've been infected. Watch out.
Right. Virus. Anyway.
So when you left Poland, you were coming to the States in order to learn horse training stuff. So
Yes.
actually working with horses on their own training. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, I had this interest in horses. I really didn't have much opportunity back in Poland, in my circumstances to pursue that. And so then I came to know about someone in the States who trained horses in a specific way that, got me interested. And I just wanted to come and check and find out if what I heard, what I read about that approach was really true because, paper's patient. And so I came actually to California for 1 month to observe the trainer and his work. And I stayed for 5 years and then continued with horses in different, kind of parts of horse industry for years to come.
Yeah, I think when I met you, you were working with little youngsters, little babies, foals and stuff. Is that right?
Yes. So my training, my majority of my work that I spent with horses here in the States was working and training on with horses on the ground. People sometimes think that I'm a riding instructor. I'm not. And what was it, 2013 or
That sounds
2012,
about
something
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I was working at a breeding ranch, thoroughbred breeding ranch. So I was taking care of handling, training future race horses at the very young age. So babies and yearlings. Yeah,
I bet
fun.
everyone here is feeling like, what a dream job. How do I get that?
It was fun. I loved it. Working with babies was like having access to the one of the most pure forms of horse, before they
Mhm.
get trained, handled, and sort of conditioned by us. So that was definitely exciting, interesting university of horse learning, horse behavior learning. Uh, but also there was a volume. We had
Mm.
about 150 babies on average a year. So
Whoa.
maybe
That's a
not
lot
as
of
much.
babies. That's a lot of pure horse energy. Wow. So a good portion of your early parts of your career with horses was focused on horses and their training. What got you interested in working with people and horses?
Let's rewind a little. My probably one of the most uh, significant and first experiences that I remember, like as if it was yesterday, mine with horses was when I was very little, maybe 3 or 4. And I remember at that time, my parents had a little, property, a little farm. And actually, we did have horses there, like one or two, to pull a wagon or sleigh. There was no horse training or anything, but they were, my mom liked her veggie garden work by horses. But I remember being in the barn with those big draft horses and literally sort of around their legs, close to their bushy, beautiful tails that I loved brushing and touching. And they were ginormous, and I was little, and the barn was, it was just a barn. There was no particular anything comfortable. And yet I felt such sense of safety and
Mm,
peace around them. So, and that stayed with me. So later in my career of, training horses, all that came back, and I just always felt at home with horses. And while working with babies and youngsters and some of the wild horses and remedial horses before the, breeding farm, everything I did with them influenced me. It always came back to me and gave me, homework to do on myself. The things that I experienced, the things that I've learned about myself, the things that I, helped me to change. Um, those were the reasons why eventually I wanted to bring it back to people. I
mm.
had blast on my own, but I felt like there was so much value that just me and the horses, that it was a waste, that it needed to be shared and paid forward, so to speak, so others could experience that too.
I love how you put that sort of like every time you were with the horses, they gave you some homework to work on in yourself, like you left with that homework. I find that so true that every time I'm with horses, whether I'm facilitating my sessions, whether I'm having my own experiences interacting with horses, I always get some new homework. I always get some feedback. I always get a mirror held up to me in a way that is hard to deny and gives me very strong clarity about what do I get to continue working on or practicing now.
Yeah, you cannot omit it. You cannot experience it and just put it on the shelf and forget
Uh-huh.
about it. Like it stays with you and sort of I feel prompted to continue with it, to dig deeper, to look what is it about, what's in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you and I went through the Equus Coach training within a year or two of each other. So we were kind of around those like 2013, 2014, somewhere in there. So how did you first get involved with the Center for Equus Coaching?
Well, that's another long sort of story in time. I met when I was at the horse trainers place. My first sort of time with horses in America. I met Coel Simpson there.
Oh,
She
the
also
founder of
came
our
to
work.
she also came to learn about horses. So that's where we met, and we spent some time there together, being living on the same ranch, working with the same horses. So later, I moved on into professional horse training, and Coel moved into life coaching. And then, she, out of that, Equus Coaching came. And there was a time, it was interesting. There was a time we stayed in touch and we crossed our paths here and there. Few times I went to see her workshops. Before she started teaching Equus Coaching, she did some public workshops. So I went to, participate or help out. And every time she would ask me, "Are you ready? Are you ready yet to be, to start doing this?" I was like, "Well, no, I have this full-time job." And then eventually, Equus Coaching came to California, literally almost to my neighborhood. I was at the crossroads of, the horse trading career was sort of closing down, and just the things came together. And so, yeah, when all of you came to came to Central Coast, I was like, well, there you go. I might as well just join you and continue with that. And that was a perfect moment, and it's a perfect match. It was coaching for me, with my
Yeah.
horse experience and with my passion for horses. That's just such a perfect combo, because I get to love horses and be with them and then share it with others. And
Mm.
yeah, I cannot think
So
of any better way to do so.
so what you're saying is you couldn't say no to all of us once we all said, "Come on, let's do this." You stood no chance saying no to all of us.
Yeah. And I see this happening these days.
Uh-huh.
So when people
Uh-huh.
get to know about Equus Coaching, people get to meet some of us or other coaches. This thing happens, and it's the virus kicked in again.
It is a virus because I don't know how many times people come and they come to the very first class of their Equus coaching cohort. They go, I don't exactly know why I'm here, but I had to be here. There's this something that horses do, and it is sort of like a virus. It infects people, and then they're off on the track with the rest of us, going off to play with the horses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So great.
Well, I think it's you actually who always says, "I can't believe I get to do this for work,"
Uh
right?
huh. Yeah, it's so true. There are so many times where I'm out there on a horse farm working with horses and people, and I will look at if I have a co-facilitator like you that's there, I'll just look at you and go, "We get paid to do this." Like, "What? How's this possible? I could never have dreamed this up. This is like, it's wild, and I feel so grateful for it." One of the things you mentioned was that people think often when they hear horse trainer that you're a riding instructor, but all of your work has always been on the ground. That makes sense, like, what a natural pairing it is to move into Equus Coaching, because I think if you're new to Equus Coaching, you might not understand that everything we do is on the ground. There's no riding the horse. There's no the kind of traditional tools and control mechanisms that we use with horses. It's all on the ground. It's face to face. It's building a relationship with a being that doesn't speak the same language as you do, and getting a mirror held up to you really quickly. So makes sense to me that your groundwork training that you were doing pairs really nicely with the work that we're doing.
Yeah, and you mentioned a very important piece about the difference between what we do and how I always felt about horses versus traditional horse training is the building relationship.
Hmm.
Um, and I want to be fair, and I have to say that a lot of the upcoming horse training techniques and methods really do open up and consider relationship. But in Equus Coaching particularly, it's all about relationship between the client and the horse, relationship the client is having with her or himself, relationship with life and the world around them. So it's all about that connection, and it's such a unique and precious element that we all want, and sometimes it's very hard to find it anywhere else. And we come to Equus Coaching session, and it's all about that.
Oh, that is so true. How many people are craving the relational connection and the learning that happens in relationship with another being? And I think that's one of my favorite parts about the work. You know, you and I both coach people without horses too, and We can do a lot of really great work with people, but there's something that happens when they're in the relationship field, when they actually have to play it out with an animal, for sure. Let's talk about your role as an instructor. So, all of us as a team, the people watching this video have gotten to meet all the other instructors too. We all kind of share responsibilities for the teaching process. We all have strengths and different styles and approaches. And so, one of the things we like to expose our students to is the fact that we all do have different strengths, that we do have different styles, and that we have a shared foundation of learning and value system, but we have a different approach to how we bring it into the world. And we think that's a really beneficial thing because then our students get to see, oh, I don't have to be like Travis. I could be like Kasia. Kasia's style resonates with me. They get to see different versions of it. So we share responsibilities and we teach different teleclasses, but we also share responsibilities at the 3 on-sites that we teach. And you typically are the one that people get to meet at that first on-site. Tell me a little bit about the first on-site and what you do there and what you love about it.
Yeah. So, first on-site is basically the first time our students who signed up for training and up till the on-site have met however many times during Zoom classes. This is the first time they're going to meet in person, not only with each other, not only with me or another instructor, in person, but also for the first time, they will sort of come to bring some of the tools and concepts we've been teaching them, um, hands-on with horses. Now, what everybody needs to kind of realize that people who sign up for Equus Coaching, they don't have to, and often they're not horse people.
I
Uh,
wasn't when I got
or
when I came into the world.
they're also don't have to, or they're not life coaches. I
Hmm.
wasn't one. Um, People come from different paths of life, and so we bring them together during that first onset. We sort of bring them to the same level. And especially when it comes to that horse element, even if we have people that come with different horse experience, because of how we look at horses and how we incorporate horses in our work, we still sort of need to meet on the same page.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. We talk about horses, and don't get me wrong, we don't take anything away from anybody's experience or ideas about horses. I always feel like what we do is we expand everybody's perspective on horses, and we add that element of healing, growing with horses that often in many traditional aspects of horse industry doesn't have place. So,
Yeah, we even had a student not that in a few cohorts ago, older gentleman that basically had been a part of like with horses and training and lots of different interactions with horses his entire life. And he came in and was like, I have never connected with a horse in my entire life. He's made a whole career around being with horses, and yet this was the first time he had ever really connected.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that. That even somebody that with an expertise and a skill set in horses can come in and find something brand new about their relationship to them.
yeah, and that's what I love about, because I like to open door to the uh, parts about horses that people often don't realize. It's like, hey, let's open it together. Let's see what else is there. And it's a beautiful piece, the whole connection, the exchange, emotional, energetical, it all happens. And so to again present it to people and then have them practice that and experience that, it's just so exciting. It's like,
Mm.
opening a box that you think you know what's in, and you open the box and there's like a bunch of cool new stuff. So that's really exciting to me. I love talking to people about horses from an angle, from places that most people don't talk about.
Mhm.
And I say, hey, this is my perspective. That's not universal truth, but I'm just sharing it with you because I know how it felt to me when I discovered that. I know what it does to me, and maybe, maybe something wonderful can happen to you as well. So that's one part. And the other is that what I love about first onsite is that when people People sign up often for different reasons. They had an Equus coaching session and they thought it was kind of interesting, transformative experience. Some others, they are in life in a place where they're looking for new career, and this sounds interesting. Some may be hurt here and there. They have some time and some means to spare. Maybe they're looking for to work on something for themselves personally. So when they come to classes, and then when they come to onsite, there are mixed feelings there. Some are excited, some are curious, some are a little hesitant, some are open but really don't know how they feel about it. By the fourth day, because each onsite is 4 days, by the fourth day, most of the times, I want to say 99.9%, I get to see people who fell in love with Equus coaching.
Mm.
And that's just so, I can't even describe the experience for you, to you. It's so amazing to watch. 4 days, it takes only 4 days for people to open up, to know what they're feeling, to have that clarity, to want more. The mix is phenomenal. So,
Oh.
and I get to experience that.
Well, it's something you do so beautifully, both the inviting people into a relationship with this animal and expanding their relationship in some cases for some people. Um, because you do have a unique way of talking about them and inviting other people to see them through your eyes that I can't tell you how many times, how many students I hear are like, wait, what's this thing Kasha's doing? They're so attracted to it, so interested. I know so many people that just want to come hang out with you on a farm, on a ranch with horses all day and just that be their life. So it's something you do so beautifully, and also the part of getting people really interested in this work, in what Equus coaching is, in experiencing it for themselves at that first onsite. And then I get to teach some of the classes that are right after that first onsite where they're practicing their own coaching skills. And I can totally validate that people come away from that first onsite being like, holy crap, yes, into this, love it. I'm bought and sold on this for sure.
It's awesome. And, I mean, I get to witness that. I'm not taking too much credit for it. It just gives me so much joy to be part of that process,
Mhm.
and seeing those changes in people. Yeah.
Well, you may not want to take credit for it, but I know that we all as an instruction team feel really grateful for the skill sets that you bring to this, because I feel really good about my relationship with horses. I feel really good about my ability to interact with them. There's just something that hasn't gotten to the cellular level like it has for you because of the amount of work and time you've been with horses. And so there's just something about the foundation you create in the relationship that is just significantly more expanded than I even can do. And I'm not even criticizing my skill set with them. So we're grateful that we have you as our horse person, to introduce people to that space. Do you have a favorite part about being an instructor for the Center for Equus Coaching?
Wow. You know, I think it's our students' vulnerability.
Mm,
You know, whether it comes to learning the coaching tools, practicing coaching. I mean, the first practices, I can only imagine what they feel sometimes, how worried they are, scared, right? They having performance anxiety, but they still do it, and
yeah,
they open up, they stand up to the task. And then during on-sites, meeting with horses, again, especially those who have zero experience with horses or very minimal, they just they just show up, and
yeah,
they go through the coaching sessions, they let us coach them, they do it in front of everybody else, and that vulnerability is absolutely inspiring,
mm,
and beyond description.
yeah, yeah. You're really touching on something that I also find really important. I think in a world that doesn't always feel safe to be vulnerable, it is a real privilege to be in a community and holding the container with people that are showing up for vulnerability, that are doing their work, that are um, doing their work with other people, that are willing to just step forward into that, even though the world doesn't always create space for that to be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it.
So, slight kind of connected to vulnerability, part of what you have started to work with people around and that you've kind of gotten further training around is the concept of grief. And I think it's something that we as Equus coaches see a lot in our clients. And they're not even aware necessarily that they're in grief. They don't exactly know what's going on for them. And it's kind of a heavy topic and we don't know how to talk about it, but I'd love to hear a little bit about your perspective on grief and why you've kind of chosen to continue expanding your skill sets in that direction.
Mm. Well, first, what I want to say, you mentioned that we see it in clients.
Mhm.
I want to add, I think we all experience that.
Yeah,
We
that's
see
so
it in
true.
we see it in clients, but
Wait, me too?
see with another mirror. Uh,
Oh,
some-
tricky.
so it's something that in my sense is pretty much a constant in our life. We do experience grief on a regular basis. Um, Obviously, I'm talking about grief that has different forms, besides not taking anything away, but besides having grief after losing someone, right? Someone passing away. There are so many other kinds of grief, and maybe that's why, like you said, sometimes we don't even realize we're in it.
Mhm,
And years ago, because of Equus coaching, and the idea of offering it to other people who here in our local community work with others, serve others. I went through local hospice training, voluntary training. I wanted to understand better how they work, what they do. So then, using Equus coaching, I could serve them. I could say thank you, give back to them. And that was probably the inspiration to continue with that, with work and training around grief. And it was that training that made me realize that grief, we have such for lack of better word, warped idea about grief. It's something nobody wants to experience. We all try to stay away from it. When it happens, it's so overwhelming that we and people around us, nobody knows how to handle. And when it starts heavy and then we don't know where or how to find support, it becomes even worse. And there's just so much suffering from grief.
mm,
Yet, you know, grief is connected to me. Grief is between love and loss, and that's something we experience on a daily basis. We love, we are connected, we care for something, someone, and then life changes, circumstances change. It's all losses. It's all losses. And besides those physical, tangible losses, we experience losses on emotional level, on intellectual level. We lose sense of who we are. Some big change happens to our lives, and we suddenly don't know who we are. Grief is part of loss. Loss is part of change. And to me, all these things happen every day on very regular basis. So if it happens all the time, how about a different approach to it? We breathe all the time, we blink all the time, we eat and sleep and rest and work. How about changing our relationship to grief?
mm,
And so I went through David Kessler's training,
mhm,
and it was great training. I've learned a lot. it also gave me a chance to deal with my own sense and idea and understanding of grief. I've gone through many losses in my life. So you, through, of course, as always, through my own transformation and work and homework, I've realized that this is something worth pursuing and supporting others because others experience that too. And
That's
now,
beautiful.
now taking this to horses, right? Adding horse elements. So one of the things that most people, besides feeling the actual pain, the clean sense of loss, why grief becomes so overwhelming is that lack of support, is that lack of understanding, is that lack of having space for that. People around us don't know how to do it. Well, as you know from Equus Coaching, horses don't judge. Horses don't have criticism or opinions or expectations of us. So when person in grief gets to come and hang out with the horse and talk about their emotions, their pain, the horse is just there for them. It just holds space. And it's so pure and it's just so clean. And for some people, this sometimes those are the first times ever they can speak about their pain without worrying that somebody's gonna say you too much, or I don't know, I don't understand you, or maybe it's time to get over. How long is this gonna go for? The horse is just there energetically, physically, emotionally. They're just there for that person, no matter what emotion they're going through. And it's a unique experience of being witnessed in grief, and again, not always present in the rest of our lives.
Yeah, it's astonishing part about our partnership with horses, their ability, their capacity and ability to be with things and not judge.
No. They have a completely different definition about emotions and whether they're good or bad or appropriate or not. It's so refreshing.
Mhm. And
to
yet it's
be
cool to know that they also have, like, the same capacity for emotions. Like, they have a large emotional center of their brain. Doesn't work the same way as ours does as humans, and it's easy to, like, try to anthropomorphize on them, but they have the same capacity, and horses grieve for sure.
absolutely.
And to know that you're with a being that can feel that too is even better than being witnessed by AI or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I so appreciate you sharing a little bit about the grief work you're doing. I think in today's world, I think so many people, I mean, I'm sure it's been true throughout history, but in today's world, I'm just so in touch with how much grief people are walking around and carrying. And so I see it in my clients, and I'm just so glad that you're continuing to create spaces for people to be witnessed in their grief and to help them transform their relationship to it.
I'm grateful that I can do it with horses because they're huge help in that. I I feel like I've done good job on um, working around that and being able to help to hold space. But boy, horses just add like extra dimension that
Hmm.
I wouldn't be able to do it myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're really good at expanding our capacities as coaches. So true.
Mm.
So if people were listening to this, were interested to learn more about you and your role as an instructor at the Center for Equus Coaching, how do people get in contact with you?
Well, we have websites for the Center for Equus Coaching, and all of us instructors have profiles there. Um, so that's one way to find more information.
Go
As
to
you mentioned,
equuscoach.com for that.
yes, thank you. And as you mentioned earlier, we all do other things as well. We offer other coaching services. So um, in those profiles, people can find information about you know, our websites or other personal information where people can find out more about us and what else we do.
Well, thank you so much, Kasha, for joining me, for talking about your experience and how you got here and your love of horses. And Thank you so much for what you do to help invite people into a different relationship. I know my relationship with horses is different and better because of my relationship with you. So thank you for all that you bring to our world. If you've been watching this and listening to this and you're interested in what we do as Equus coaches, please do go to equuscoach.com so that you can learn more about the trainings we offer, the certifications that we offer, programs that are available to the public, and programs that are available to anybody that's training as an Equus coach. So that's at equuscoach.com. Thanks everybody for coming to listen and to find out more about our work at the Center for Equus Coaching. See you soon.
Thank you.